I was worried how far my rock bottom was going to be. Where's rock bottom for me? And you would never have seen it. I'm very good at hiding it. No one would have ever seen it.
Who would have thought that Liam-Payne, the same Liam with the cheeky grin and a voice that made many people swoon, would meet such a sudden, tragic end? That's exactly what the prosecutor's office in Argentina is saying. Liam-Payne did not consciously jump from that balcony. Hold up for a second. Does that mean that there was absolutely no way in hell that Liam-Payne committed suicide? So, what really went down at the Casa Sur Hotel on that fateful October day? Let me fill you in on things real quick. Liam-Payne, the 31-year-old pop sensation who was one of the members of One Direction, was in Buenos Aires for former band member Niall Horan's concert. Everything seemed like it was in the usual rock star order until October 16th, when tragedy struck. Payne fell from the third-floor balcony of the hotel. And as details trickle in, we're learning this wasn't a cut-and-dried case. In fact, it's far from it. You're probably wondering, was he pushed? Did he jump? According to Argentine prosecutors, the answer is neither. Investigators have ruled out foul play, self-harm, or any voluntary act on Payne's part. If Payne didn't jump, then what on earth happened? Prosecutors say he was likely in a state of noticeable decrease or loss of consciousness at the time of his fall, meaning he might not have even known where he was, let alone the danger he was in and who's responsible for that state. 3 people have now been charged in connection to his death, with allegations ranging from drug supply to abandonment of a person followed by death. What a mess. One of these suspects allegedly accompanied Payne daily while he was in Buenos Aires. The theory? Payne was supplied with drugs and then, in his impaired state, left alone in a situation that proved fatal. The hotel staff, concerned for his well-being, even called 911 before the fall. Imagine how eerie that must have been, to hear that call for help, only to discover it was too late. When the toxicology report came back, the medical examiner was stunned. Payne had alcohol, cocaine, and an antidepressant in his system. His room was found in complete disarray, with what investigators described as narcotics and alcohol strewn around, amidst broken furniture and belongings. It all suggests a wild, chaotic scene leading up to the tragedy. Could this have been a breakdown? Fans have speculated as much, citing Payne's open struggles with mental health and past admissions of battling inner demons. Payne's post-mortem report detailed multiple injuries and severe bleeding, inside and out. Forensic experts have even said that the way his body was positioned upon landing suggested he didn't try to brace for impact, a likely indicator that he was unconscious or at least deeply impaired. This wasn't someone taking a leap into the unknown. This was someone who probably didn't know where he was. Doesn't that just send a chill down your spine? Payne's passing didn't just devastate his fans, but also shook the music industry. His family, understandably heartbroken, asked for privacy, sharing that Liam will forever live in our hearts. His former bandmates, his brothers from One Direction, publicly mourned, each of them grappling with the sudden loss of their dear friend. Harry Styles even described the years they shared as some of the most cherished of his life, vowing to keep Liam in his memory forever. Yet, the reactions went beyond just his close circle. This is Liam-Payne we're talking about, the guy who was basically family to fans worldwide. When news of his death broke, social media erupted with a mix of disbelief, heartbreak, and tributes. 31 is way too young to die, a fan commented, echoing the disbelief of many who saw him go from a young hopeful on The X Factor to an international superstar. That lovable 14-year-old with a big voice and bigger dreams had fans in a chokehold since his audition. Now, they were left asking the same haunting question. Why? Let's face it, being a child star is no walk in the park. Liam wasn't the first star to wrestle with fame, and he certainly won't be the last. His struggles with addiction and mental health are sadly a tale as old as time in the entertainment world. He wasn't shy about it either. He once shared that.
So, I filmed a bunch of these over time and deleted them, but I don't know whether this was like the right time. I know in my last video I'd mentioned I've been diagnosed with a couple of conditions. Not to go into too much into detail, but one of them that I have, basically, there's a lot of manic things in my life which you guys saw, but the other side of it, and that kind of feels like when I would lose my sobriety would be within these moments that were super low, and I kind of felt like that today. And since isolating the two things and seeing them separately, like I know what they are now and I can identify them, and luckily I've got some amazing people around me that kind of look after me, but I'm sure they can see it in me too, that I'm just not really here. I just wanted to put this out here anyway, as I know there's probably a few people who have the same thing. Maybe you don't even know it sometimes, but just so you know, you're not the only one.
Even on stage with thousands cheering him on, he sometimes felt completely lost and isolated. Can you imagine how lonely that must feel? During one candid interview, Payne admitted, "There were a few moments where I was worried how far my rock bottom would go. I'm very good at hiding it. No one would have seen it." And no one did. Liam wasn't just a superstar. He was a young man dealing with the crushing weight of public scrutiny, fame, and personal struggles. Think about it. Even surrounded by adoring fans and bandmates, he still battled those feelings. Does fame really take more than it gives? So, what actually led to his tragic last moments? Liam was in Buenos Aires after reconnecting with former bandmate Niall Horan. They shared some lighthearted moments on social media, sparking excitement among fans who were thrilled to see the two back together. After Niall left, though, things took a darker turn. The day before his death, Payne was reportedly acting strangely, which prompted hotel staff to call emergency services. The hotel manager was quoted as saying to the 911 operator, "We have a guest drunk with drugs and alcohol. He's breaking everything in the room."
911, ¿dónde es emergencia?
Hola, buenos días. Recién llamé que se me acordó. Llamo del Hotel Casa Sur Palermo, Costa Rica 6032.
¿Qué sucede en el lugar, señor?
Tenemos un huésped que está sobrepasado de droga y alcohol y cuando está consciente está rompiendo toda la habitación y necesitamos que manden a alguien, por favor.
Bajo de efectos de alcohol y estupefaciente, ¿no, señor?
Sí, correcto.
Me dijo Costa Rica, ¿a qué altura, señor? Discúlpeme.
Costa Rica 6032.
Esto pertenece a Capital, ¿no? Entre Arevalo y Kramer.
Sí.
¿Hotel, me dice? ¿Cómo se llama el hotel?
Casa Sur Palermo. Y necesitamos que nos envíen a alguien urgente porque, yo no sé si corre riesgo la vida del huésped. Está en una habitación que tiene balcón y, estamos un poco con temor de que haga algo que le ponga en riesgo
¿Hace
su
cuánto
vida.
que está ahí o es un hotel de vivienda?
No, es hace 2 o 3 días que está acá.
Comprendo, no sabría ningún dato porque no pueden ingresar, ¿no?
No.
Notificamos a lo que es el personal de SAME. También, ¿escuchamos?
Sí, lo que yo te pido es que venga alguien urgente porque,
Notificamos. En la llamada se
perfecto.
notificó. ¿Algún dato más para aportarme? ¿Usted quién sería? ¿Es encargado?
Yo soy el jefe de recepción.
Encargado del lugar sería, ¿no?
Sí.
Ya se notificó. ¿Cómo se llama usted por último, señor?
Esteban.
Ya se notificó. Espere el móvil, por favor.
Ok.
Gracias por comunicarse. ¿Puede liberar la línea?
¿Mandan a la policía también
A
o
la
no?
policía de lo que es la comuna, deme un segundo que se... Comuna
No,
14 y SAME.
No, solamente al SAME.
Comprendo, no se preocupe que ya se notificó igual.
Ok, perfecto,
O sea que
muchas
como
gracias.
usted me dice que está bajo los efectos del alcohol y estupefacientes, no, el SAME no entra solo.
No entra solo el SAME.
No.
Ok.
Igual se notifica. Igual si usted llega el personal policial, le explica y si requieren SAME, le dan aviso.
Bueno, ok,
Ya se
perfecto.
notificó igual. Que tenga un buen día, señor.
Bueno, gracias igualmente.
That frantic call paints a heart-wrenching image. You can almost feel the tension and fear in that manager's voice. Imagine their desperation as they looked at Payne, intoxicated, distressed, and so vulnerable, and worried about the balcony just a few feet away. And what about Cheryl, the mother of his child? She shared her heartbreak online, reflecting on the reality that their son, Bear, has to face the reality of never seeing his father again. It's gut-wrenching to imagine the impact on the people closest to him, who are now left to pick up the pieces. Did Liam Payne's life come to a tragic end because of one deadly night? Or is there something even darker behind it all? The One Direction star's shocking fall from a third-floor balcony in Buenos Aires has fans reeling, and now 3 people are facing charges connected to his death. But what really happened that night? On October 16th, Payne was found on the ground after plummeting from his hotel balcony at the upscale Casa Sur Hotel in Buenos Aires. The Argentine prosecutor's office has dropped a bombshell. Payne wasn't fully conscious when he fell, or maybe even knew what was happening at all. So, what does this mean? And why are these 3 people being charged? First off, authorities are ruling out self-harm in this case. That's right. Contrary to initial speculation, prosecutors don't believe Payne made a conscious decision to leap off that balcony. Instead, it's starting to look like he may have been in an altered state, a noticeable decrease or loss of consciousness when the fall happened. In other words, Payne might not have known where he was or what he was doing in those final moments. But the story only gets murkier. The prosecutor, Andres Esteban Madrea, has charged 3 individuals, alleging they were complicit in this tragic end. One of them, who allegedly spent nearly every day with Payne during his stay in Argentina, now faces the charge of abandonment of a person followed by death and supplying drugs. Was this so-called companion really there to look out for him? Or were they more interested in keeping Payne in a spiral of dangerous behavior? And it's not just this mysterious companion. A hotel employee and another individual have also been charged with supplying drugs. So, were they enablers? Or did they somehow play a more active role in Payne's tragic last night? The investigation has unveiled traces of alcohol, cocaine, and a prescription antidepressant in Payne's system, indicating he may have been under the influence of a cocktail of substances. But here's the catch. No reflexes were detected in the fall. That's right, Payne's body didn't react the way it should have if he'd been fully conscious. Could it be that Payne was completely unaware of his surroundings? And if so, who made sure he was in that condition? Adding fuel to the fire, the Argentine investigators reportedly found narcotics and alcohol scattered across Payne's hotel room, along with broken furniture. It sounds like a scene from a wild, out-of-control night, but it also raises questions. How did it get to this point? And why were these people around him at such a vulnerable moment? Argentine authorities have been relentless in their investigation, analyzing Payne's phone, security camera footage from the hotel, and even public road cameras to piece together his final hours. Over 800 hours of footage, several dozen testimonies, and a forensic extraction of Payne's phone data have brought them closer to the truth, revealing at least 4 instances of narcotics being supplied to him. But who was supplying them, and why? Did these people take advantage of his stardom and vulnerabilities? The post-mortem report shows Payne's death was due to multiple injuries and internal and external bleeding. The painful reality for fans that the One Direction star didn't simply fall. He suffered. His tragic end is clouded with unanswered questions. But one thing is clear, this wasn't the result of suicide or depression. So, will justice be served? Or will we never find out the truth behind the tragic end of this pop star? Join us next time and hit that subscribe button.